Hi, guys. So today I'm going to talk to Dr. Lauren Roche about a fairly important topic, an issue that pretty much plagues our lives these days, and that is the topic of stress. Stress is affecting the way that we perform, it's affecting our health. A lot of the diseases in the world right now are caused by stress. One of the reasons why meditation is so common in the present time is because we're really stressed. We feel like we don't have enough time, we have a lot to do, and therefore the practice of meditation has become so popular. However, stress can also be seen as a helpful thing, a productive thing, an impetus that can keep us going, maybe keep us motivated. And I want to talk to Lauren today about how we can see stress more as an ally than an enemy. Hi, Lauren, how are you?
Hi. Hey, Tanya. Hey, everybody.
So let's talk about stress today.
Okay, so what I'm about to say is actually research-based. If we look at the scientific research on stress, then we can see, oh, that's there in meditation, it's just hidden. So listen up. This can change your life. Stress is good for you. We love stress. We crave it. We also need time to recover. So meditation is a great tool in recovering from stress. Three, some of what you're suffering now very likely is lack of stress. You're suffering from prolonged feeling, a thought of stress, which is real. Like, it's real if we lose our jobs. It's real if we can't travel. It's real if we can't touch people as much as we want to. These are real stressors. However, there's a thought component, our mental map of the world. So let's change the map just a little. First, let's come up with a couple definitions of stress. Stress just means pressure, technically. There's like something bending us out of shape in a material or emotional way. Stress is actually a computation that bodies make, not just human bodies, not mental. It's what brains do. Now, for example, say you're walking along the street and a big dog leaps out of nowhere from the side, like a big dog, whatever it is, a big dog. And you'll just jolt, like, rah. Now take the exact same dog and shrink it down to like this size, the size of a cat, and like little dogs or big barkers. Notice that if the dog's a certain size, your body responds like, this could be dangerous. The dog could be a biter. If the dog's this size, you might be amused. So what's going on is that your brain is always scanning the environment for potential threats. With a little dog, your body knows this dog can't hurt me. Like one push of my foot and it'll go flying. So the feeling of stress, when we activate our emergency reserves, comes from a kind of mathematical computation that your brain makes automatically is, can I deal with this in a relaxed way? Or do I need to summon kind of the extra charge in my glands? Do I need to speed up? Do I need to change my metabolism? So when we perceive that there's a challenge, it's not just like when a big dog comes at us, where it's flee or freeze or fight or fend off. The stress response is not just like running away or fighting. There's actually a whole continuum of excitement. It's excitation. It's where we're gearing up to deal with something. And stress can be great fun. So people jump out of airplanes, they climb cliffs, they go on adventures. We used to love to travel. when we go to see a movie, any movie that you love, all the characters are in stress and are having to deal with being stressed. So we love stress. It's an adventure. What's great is when we have the tools to deal with whatever the challenge is. This is the thing that's so deeply satisfying, is to meet the challenge with skill. And this is what human beings have been bred for by nature for millions of years. We're all descended from human beings who were masters of stress. They were Zen masters. They did incredible things. Your great, 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 great grandmother, or great, 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 great grandfather, they did extraordinary things. They lived in the cold. They walked across deserts. They built a boat and sailed to another island or continent. Your ancestors did amazing things. And until recently, people would just like regularly be exposed to freezing water every day because nobody had heated water except for royalty. So you'd be exposed to just freezing water. You'd go outside in freezing winter, just boiling heat. People would walk miles and miles and miles and miles and miles somehow without Google Maps and find their way. So our bodies are built to handle an immense amount of physical stress.
So then why is it that in this day and age, we get so frazzled when we're stressed? If our ancestors were used to handling and we are programmed to handle stress, why is it that now heart disease is the #1 killer in the United States? Why are we not better equipped?
There's two things. For the first time in history, people are living long enough to die from stress. Like when they're 70 or 80. This never happened before.
That's a good point.
The other thing is that we all have it, so we tend to have it so good that a lot of the things that people used to die from are not killing people. That's why there's 7.8 billion people on Earth. The population of the Earth has gone up by like 7 times just in a human lifetime. This has never happened before. So
us living in a time where we have basic amenities and a lot of the basic necessities are taken care of has in fact made us a little bit more comfortable. We are not dealing with stress as much. So when
with our own bodies, what's really hard in the modern world is to have a properly calibrated emotional immune system so that we have just the right response to each thing that's presenting itself to us as a challenge. And in a sense, many of us are suffering from lack of stress. Like we don't spend months outdoors. If you've ever been on a long camping trip where you're hiking up and down mountains, you break the ice on a pond and jump in to take a bath. You're freezing cold and then you're hot, get really hungry because you have to walk for hours. You're starving, get really hungry because you can't stop until you get to the next camp and then you can eat. You go to sleep when the sun sets because immediately it's freezing. And then you wake up in the middle of the night and just look at the stars for hours. And then you get up at dawn and jump in an utterly freezing cold. And then it's snowing, but you have to keep walking. If you have that kind of simple physical stress, which your body is built for, then these emotional stresses don't seem as important. It lets your whole body calibrate its system. What's going on with all of us is that a lot of us live cushy lives where we're not threatened. They're not like rabid monkeys jumping out of trees to attack us, like if you live in the jungle. There's not, when you walk to get water, you're not literally being stalked by like leopards who are just looking at you and thinking, they're kind of tasty. I could use a snack right now. We're not in literal danger the way we used to be. So news reports and the gossip of a media feed takes on the importance as if there's a dangerous beast right there. So our bodies are overreacting. And that's a problem. It's a problem for all of us.
So this makes me feel like the emotional quotient needs to evolve as fast as our present world has evolved. So we now live in a world where we don't have to trigger the fight or flight response because we're not being hunted by wild animals. But it seems like our emotional response has not quite calibrated, as you said.
Yeah, it's not. If you have a grandmother or grandfather, or if you know somebody that survived World War II, or if you know somebody from like Ukraine or Eastern Europe, go talk to them. Talk to people who've like seen some shit. The people who've been in prolonged life or death situations, they'll have a properly calibrated threat response. Because they know what, if you're not immediately gonna die, then like don't get stressed over it. What's going on with all of us is that we're in a mild level of alarm, which is exhausting, and we can't do anything about it. So we're all being trained to be exhausted, frazzled, have a sense of defeat and hopelessness, which are all classic responses to prolonged stress. We're all being manipulated by this confluence of the world actually is changing and the news media, and then various puppet masters that pull the strings, that they know that if we keep on flooding the airwaves with messages, you're a victim, be afraid, be very afraid. And then this overlord, this little dictator can save you. He's going to protect you from those evil people over there, like your neighbors that don't believe in exactly this catechism of things. So the strategies of manipulation and hypnosis are well known to all of our corporate and political overlords. We're actually being bombarded on an information level. And this is very toxic. It's very challenging.
So this leads me to two questions, Lauren. One is, how can we emotionally then calibrate ourselves? And also, how do we continue to exist in this present day world with our senses intact and our inner self intact when we are constantly being treated as marionettes and being manipulated?
Yeah, this is the great challenge. So there's a couple simple things you can do. One is strategize to get more sleep. Sleep is the time when the whole brain and body get to reset, reboot, process everything, and start again. So do what you can to protect your sleep time, and even make sure that you're getting lots and lots of sleep. Now, you may need to stop looking at glowing screens for a while before sleep. Trick your brain into feeling like it's sunset. And when you wake up slowly. That's one thing. Two, it's like movie therapy. It's like Netflix, and like the opposite of Netflix and chill would be Netflix and energize. Find the most thrilling movies that you enjoy and really study them. Notice that what's so engaging is seeing the characters having to reach inside and deal with the challenges that they're faced. That's what's interesting in a movie. You would never see go to see a movie that's just about somebody's daily life. Well, you know, Joe and Jane, they got up, they had a good morning, they went to work, everything was great. They came home and laughed. It was like, where's the movie? We crave to put ourselves in the position of challenge and having the magic of summoning our resources. So movies are good therapy. And then lots of exercise, however you can manage it. Bodies need to move. You need to invent ways to move so much that you get tired physically and then want to go to sleep. And then the next thing is, besides movies, is novels, poetry, the world's great literature. Because most of what you love in movies and novels is people who are tremendously challenged. They're under great stress, and they invented ways to deal with that stress.
So that would help us calibrate our emotional response.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard because of the sort of a lockdown. We're all suffering from lack of the profound physiological reset that would come from camping out, where you walk for 8 hours, then you build a camp, you sleep, build a fire, sleep, and get up and jump in a freezing river. Like I'm so lucky, I can go and walk to the ocean and just jump in the ocean. And it's like everything is reset. Now, another thing you can do is take a fast from the media, just even for a morning or a day or 2 days. Just arrange to not look at your phone or the news media and be in your senses. And most places in the world, if you're actually, your only map of the world is what you directly see and smell and taste and hear, the world is amazingly peaceful and everybody is cooperating. By and large, everybody is out there cooperating to make the world better. You can change the way that you respond to stress just by thinking, I can handle this. It's kind of like Netflix and chill. Like, I'm chill, like I can handle this, just by saying this, what you thought would be stressful, where you can see somebody of the world of the media, they're trying to scare you. And generally what the internet has turned into is a bunch of incredibly smart people, like the most ingenious people on earth. And they're trying to keep you aggravated, inflamed, outraged, and scared. That's because otherwise you won't spend as much time looking at Facebook or whatever, and they won't, and their ad revenue will drop. So they're immediately punished if they don't scare you and outrage you. This is just the way the world works there. So we're constantly being bombarded with false fears. And this is a huge challenge for humanity, because we all have the internet in our pockets. So take a break from media once in a while and just be in your senses. Build your map of the world from what you do immediately see and hear and feel. The other is the thought, oh, I can handle this. This is not actually immediately life-threatening. Therefore, I don't need to push my emergency button. That changes your physiological response.
Sleep is imperative, it's important. You have to carve out the time, cultivate the habit of sleeping well, maybe not look at your glowing devices before you go to bed. I really like that. I like the fact that create your own world map. Like take a media fast for a while, a news fast for a while.
You don't have to take a fast from movies or Netflix. There's no easy solutions. You have to search your soul. That's actually not true. Sometimes the solutions are easy, like just get more sleep or take more walks or make sure to spend time with your friends, laugh and cry every day. But be prepared that some of the challenges you're facing actually call for you to search your soul and really summon your ultimate resources.
Yeah, but I think the turning point, the crux of this is knowing that you can ask, knowing that you can seek, knowing that you have it within yourself, knowing that you can even say something as, I've got this, I can handle this. Okay. Yeah. These are huge. These things are huge.
Yeah. And if you can find them, talk to Holocaust survivors or old people who've been through famines or plagues or times when half the country died. People who've really seen some shit. And people who've really seen real stress. And they just put the one foot in front of the other. Our bodies are built to be able to do that. And thank God we don't have to do that every day.
It's interesting. Thank God we don't have to do that every day. And yet it also has its drawbacks.
There it is. Like I have this opinion when somebody's suffering, I feel like there's nothing wrong with all these people that spending a month on a good walk in the mountains wouldn't fix. And then learn how to meditate and just spend like a week on a tropical island with nothing to do but meditate and look at the horizon all day. It's like there's nothing wrong with you that contact with nature won't fix.
Thank you so much, Lauren, for this.
Yeah.
So great as
always. Go for it and live.
Thank you. Thank you so much.